What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you and I wanted to bring you a video with Bill Maher talking to Elon Musk. And they're talking about the virus, man, the woke virus that's kind of sweeping the country. And where did it come from? Bill Maher said it come from bats. You know, where did this woke virus come from? But yeah, it's definitely sweeping the country, man. It's definitely sweeping this country. And not only this country, but the Western world. But anyways, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
This woke mind virus, how did it start? Was it bats? Was it a escape from a lab? I mean, what is your assessment of what? Because it's fairly recent. How did it start and why?
I was trying to figure out where it's coming from. I think it's actually been a long time brewing, in that it's, I think it's been going on for a while. The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having, and hasn't been for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 20 years. So,
aren't parents themselves also a big part of the problem?
Well, I suppose in some cases that parents, but I think like the parents are just generally not aware of what their kids are being taught, or what they're not being taught.
But they're letting the kids think that they're equal.
I mean, yeah. Let me give you an example that a friend of mine told me, which his daughters go to college go to high school in the Bay Area, and he was asking them, like, well, so who are the first few presidents of the United States? They could name Washington, and I said, well, what do you know about him? Well, he was a slave owner. What else?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
I'm like, okay, maybe you should know more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the woke mind virus. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that.
And by the way, one that was practiced all over the world forever, since the beginning of time, by every race, including people of color. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's huge in the Bible.
Absolutely. So
Bible loves.
You know what, guys, man? Woke mind virus. I don't know what else to call this except for that. So yeah, they've definitely hit the nail on the head with this. Again, man, I agree with Bill when he says, where did it come from? Was it a bat? Was it? Yeah, you know what, man? I don't know, but the people that have it are definitely batshit crazy, man. They definitely are. And the thing is, man, it's like sweeping the left, man. It's sweeping the left. Again, they have these views, man. It's gone from, why do you care so much? Why do you care so much about what I am, what I'm doing? Why do you care so much? It's gone from that all the way to, you have to refer to me the way that I want you to refer to me, and I want to use whatever restrooms and whatever locker rooms and whatever that I want to use, and you have to refer to me the way that I want you to refer to me, and if not, I'm going to press charges. I want the ability to press charges. And that's how far we've gone. That's how far we've gone in the matter of like a year. But again, guys, this woke mind virus is sweeping this country. It's sweeping Western civilization as a whole. And, again, man, they're policing themselves. Because, again, what they're doing is they're saying, you have to follow. This is what we believe. This is the new thing. This is what we believe. And if you don't follow that, we're going to do anything that we can to get you canceled, to get you taken down, to get you whatever. Again, the tolerant left, man. The tolerant left. And the thing is, man, like these liberal, northeastern guys, man, that I've been around on and off for many years, man, been involved with groups with and that kind of stuff. Man, those kind of guys, man, they will let in the Trojan horse because, again, those guys, they're not worried about doing the right things. They're not worried about that at all. They're worried about how they look to other people. Am I being helpful? Do I look like I'm being helpful? Do I look like I'm being nice? Do I look like... Because, again, they change. I mean, again, they moved along with whatever ideas have come out. Because, again, 10, 20 years ago, these same guys would have been like, why are you going into a girl's locker room? You're a man. Why are you going in there? But now, we got to respect women. We got to be nice to women. But now they're like, you know what? We got to let them go in because they identify as such. Because they identify as that, we got to let them in, even though they're a man, except for wearing a skirt and blouse. They're a man, but we got to let them in because you know what? Yeah, they identify as such. And again, man, when the shit hits the fan, and I hate to sound sexist, but when the shit hits the fan, women look for men, look to men for leadership. They do. And it's like, when somebody's breaking in the house, my wife, man, she doesn't say, let me go check it out. That's kind of my job. It's like, well, somebody's breaking in the house, well, again, when the shit hits the fan, that's what they look for. So again, we have to understand that we have to protect our wives, our mothers, our daughters. We got to protect them. Again, if we don't, who will? Who will? So again, we got to stop trying to be politically correct. And Elon was talking right here about this one high school student, man, that didn't know who George Washington was, other than the fact that he was a slave owner. And man, that kind of stuff is really scary. How far this country has fallen apart, and how far Western civilization has fallen apart.
Well, maybe it's a bigger group now.
Yeah.
Who are called conservative, who haven't really changed. I don't think of you as a conservative.
I'm definitely, yeah, like I at least think of myself as a moderate, so, I mean, at least I've spent a massive amount of my life energy building sustainable energy, electric vehicles and batteries and solar and stuff to help save the environment. That's not a,
No.
It's not exactly far right.
No, you drew that diagram. You drew that diagram once where you're here. I related to that, and the world has changed.
Right.
I feel the same way. I feel like very often wokeness is not building on liberalism. It's the opposite of liberalism. I can mention many examples where it's including free speech.
Free speech is actually is extremely important, and it's bizarre that we've come to this point where, free speech used to be a left or liberal value, and yet we see from the in quotes left a desire to actually censor, and that seems crazy. I mean, I think we should be extremely concerned about anything that undermines the First Amendment. There's a reason for the First Amendment. The First Amendment is because people came from countries where they could not speak freely, and where saying certain things would get you thrown into prison. And they were like, well, we don't want that here. And by the way, in many parts of the world, including parts of the world that people might think are relatively similar to the United States, the speech laws are draconian.
England is quite different.
I won't name any countries, but...
England, why are we protecting them? They have no First Amendment. It's very easy to prove libel in England, whereas here it's almost...
I love England, but...
Yeah, you too, but I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing. Or
yes,
you could be sued easier. There are law in France, I think if you deny the Holocaust, which I think is abhorrent, but I also think it should be part of free speech.
Right.
You can be thrown into jail. Okay, so this...
I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech. And free speech only matters, it's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously speech that you like is, that's easy. So it's the thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember, at some point, that will be turned on you.
I totally agree. The thing is, we have to understand that we have the freedom of speech in this country. We have the First Amendment, which it lays out explicitly that we can say what it is that we want to say. And, again, people think other Western countries, they have that. They don't. They don't have it laid out the way we do. They don't. And the thing is, man, we had to protect that at all costs. We have to get in there. We have to protect it because, again, that right, the left is trying to whittle away. And, of course, they're not smart enough to understand what they're doing. They're really not. And they're not going to humble themselves enough to realize what they're doing, what this is. They're not going to do that. They're the intellectuals. No, they're not. They're dumb as hell. They are dumb as hell. But again, they're out there, championing themselves as being these educated, thinkers and everything else. They're not. They're really not. They go along with whatever is in vogue at the moment. They will. They don't care about nothing else. They go along with whatever. And whatever talking points that is being told to them, they don't care. They don't care. But again, they will go along with that, and they will try to restrict you from having the ability to say whatever it is that you want to say. They will try to restrict that. With disinformation, hate speech. Oh, you can't say that. That's hate speech. Oh, you can't say that. That's disinformation. You can't say that. That's... No, look. We got... Just like a friend of mine said about a year ago on a podcast, talking about freedom of speech, you got to be willing to throw all ideas out there, and then we put them into like a funnel. We funnel them down, and then we choose what we feel are the best ideas, the best things. But we have to put everything out there. We can't exclude. We can't whatever. We got to hit everything out there. And then somebody asked him, what about Nazis? Should Nazis be allowed to say whatever? And he said, yes, they should be. They should be allowed to say whatever they want to say. And even though it may be abhorrent, they should be allowed to say whatever it is they want to say. Because again, our country was founded on freedom of speech. That was a right that we were afforded. And again, if we start giving up rights to make people feel better, to make them feel safer, to make them feel whatever, then you know what? We're giving up America. We're giving up this country. And that right there is something we have to be honest about. We have to look at. We are giving up. We are trading in our rights. And it's not going to be America. It's like, well, we got to pass hate speech legislation. We got. No, we don't. No, we don't. I understand that may be hard to hear and maybe just complete trash. But the fact of the matter is, we got to allow it. We got to have that. Because again, without that, What are you gonna do? Are you gonna say every time somebody disagrees with you or with what you're doing, that is somehow hate speech? I mean, come on, think about that for a minute. Again, we're gonna legislate everything down to where people can't say nothing. And then what do you have? What kind of country do you have? I mean, really, what kind of country is left? And that's what they're wanting to do. And the courts left, they're being used. They're being used and they don't see it. And again, they're not going to understand that because they're going to have to humble themselves enough to say, you know what? Even though we think we're intellectuals and everything else, we're really not. We're being used. We're being taken advantage of. You know, and again, it's very easy to take advantage of people like that. All you gotta do is stroke their ego. Tell them, oh, you're so smart. You're so wonderful. You're so this, you're so that. I hear men telling their wives all the time things like that. You know, like, you know, you're so good, you're so smart, you're so creative, you're so this. And again, man, they're stroking their ego. And again, they're getting what they want out of that. And, you know, by making them feel better and powerful and important and whatever. And again, I'm not saying you should put people down. I'm just saying that's the way to control people. You know, again, the educated, the quote unquote smart, who aren't really that smart anyways, man. They're easy to control. All you gotta do is tell them how smart they are. And that's all I gotta tell them. Hey, you're smart, you're wonderful, you're creative, you're this, you're that. And they will listen to what you're saying because, again, you know, you tell them something and then you tell them how smart they are. And then you say whatever it is you want to say. And then you say, don't you agree? And they say, well, actually, yes, I do agree. And that's the way things are kind of put out there and put into motion. Again, think about this for a minute, guys. You know, so many years ago, a man's a man and a woman's a woman. Would anyone be asking the question, what is a woman so many years ago? No, there wouldn't be. They'd look at you like you're crazy. But now, if you go ask some college professor, what is a woman? They will give you some long, drawn answer and without actually saying a thing. That's the way things are. So again, they're not this smart. They're really not. And they're easy to take advantage of. But hey guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.